Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now in this video we will be looking at the quote that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in his press conference or kind of interview that he did with the Overlap. There were some interesting details that he certainly talked about, and in this video we'll be going over the key points. He talked about Bruno Fernandes, potential transfer of Jude Bellingham, the Ronaldo situation when he came in and how that changed, and it's looking like Ole was right with some of the stuff that he said. He also talked about Ten Hag and what impact that has had on Manchester United, whether you think he'll succeed. So yeah, he talked about a lot of things. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the first thing he talked about was Bruno Fernandes and about being captain. He said, I knew Bruno Fernandes had captain qualities when I was a manager at Manchester United. He's got the personality and quality, but he knows, and I've told him, that he's too passionate at times and he loses a bit of control. Now listen, Ole's time at Manchester United did kind of come to an end quickly. Well, not quickly, quite drastically. I think after that Watford game, he said he knew it was over. He knew that the players didn't try for him, and he kind of knew that it was a huge issue. So, yeah, it was quite difficult to Ole go. I think he was obviously a Manchester United player and a legend, and someone who didn't really work out the managerial tenure. Now, he talked about Ronaldo. When it became apparent that he was leaving Juventus, there were other clubs that wanted him, but it was exciting for me. Manchester United asked me, would you want us to try this? I said yes. Obviously, we know Cristiano's quality and he's 37, but we have to manage. He's the best goal scorer in the world. It didn't work out for me, it didn't work out for Cristiano, but it was the right decision at the time. Edison Cavani was the one that suffered most when Cristiano came in. We played and got Edison in a certain way of understanding the way we played. He said Ronaldo, with him in the team, it was no problem. But without him pressing, we had to change a little bit. But different roles we have got used to. We were one of the highest pressing teams before Ronaldo joined. We let Dan James go and Cristiano Ronaldo came in, and the two different types of players. It was the right decision for me. It didn't turn out to be the right one. Now, he's kind of saying that he goes back on the Ronaldo signing. I think it was like, you're not going to turn down Ronaldo, but it probably, in terms of how the club wanted to progress, it probably wasn't the best decision to make. I think Ole probably knows that now, and he can probably see that, and that's why he's trying to make that message across. Now, we know Ronaldo's the best player in the world, or is the best player in the world, up there with Messi, but maybe it was the wrong decision to bring him in. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the media that went on, so it didn't kind of work out to be an overall successful deal. Now, we talked about Erling Haaland. I had Haaland in mould day for 2 seasons. The summer before I got here at United, I rang the club and said, "You've got to sign this boy. He'll be top class." That was July 2018. Manchester United turned down to sign Haaland. So that was a kind of Ed Woodward masterclass, if you want to put it. Turning down Haaland at the time. We knew that Ole's obviously, I think, Norwegian, worked with him as well. It was obviously clear that he was going to become one of the best players in the world, and we did refuse to sign him, and that's disappointing. But it shows Manchester United's recruitment and the real problem with the head of recruitment at the time at Manchester United. There were clear issues there, and we didn't have the right internal structure. I think that the main importance of that is having the right structure, and obviously we didn't have it. He talked about no one said no to being club captain. They didn't want to be captain in certain games. They didn't want to tell me. They got other people like coaches to tell me it was petty. So yeah, he did kind of talk about the players, how they didn't really try for him at the end, and it was all about taking ownership, and not many Manchester United players did that. He talked about the players as well, saying many refused to do pre-match interviews. Bruno did it, Maguire did it, Lindelof always did it, McTominay always did it, De Gea and Luke Shaw did it. The others were worried about the question. So it shows that some players didn't really want to stand up, and it was clear that those players were the ones who backed Ole. Now, he talked about Jude Bellingham and how he got sacked next. So this is interesting. He said, Jude was in the building. I was there. Sir Alex was there. Brian Robson, Eric Cantona were all there. We spoke to him and sold it as well as we could. But he knew what... We all spoke to him and sold it as we could, but he knew what he wanted. X amount of minutes in the first team. He's the most mature 17-year-old I've met. He had it all planned out. And look at him, he's at Real Madrid, he's doing fantastic now. I mean, we have missed out on some big players. Jude Bellingham probably being the big one. He was at Carrington, which is our training ground. It was a huge option for Manchester United to sign him. And he said he didn't prove things after he signed. He said Maguire's a good captain. He was leader of the group. He didn't spend enough time with Sancho to analyse. He was unlucky, so he came back from vacation with the ear infection, so he started being in behind physically, and he and Marcus Rashford prefer the left side. He said the worst feeling is not knowing what you're going to get from your team. When you have Scott McTominay, Fred, Matic, you're going to give everything. It's the best feeling. he talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which was kind of the last thing about the interview. He said, I hope he's going to be successful at Manchester United. We hope he's going to make it, but you never know what the new owners are thinking. It's about results and consistency. So you don't know what's going to happen with Ole at Manchester United, or any manager at Manchester United. So let's see what happens. But they were the key quotes. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and peace.